All right, man, peace. So it's becoming more and more obvious that the San Francisco 49ers' new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, a.k.a. Jimmy G, a.k.a. Jimmy G Spot, as I call him, is going to be a major narrative in this up-and-coming NFL season because it's very clear that he believes in himself to an extreme degree, and he does not give a damn who knows it. He's going to live his life how he wants to live it. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's going to say what he wants to say. And he does have an unbelievable amount of belief in himself, pride in himself, and it's going to show. Either it's going to show on the football field or it's going to show after the game in the post-game press conference. So I'm looking very much forward to how well he performs in this up-and-coming NFL season. He's recently made a major splash in the media during this soon-to-be preseason of the NFL by stating that he believed when he was drafted by the New England Patriots that he was better than Tom Brady. So, of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Okay, well, we got a name. Jimmy Garoppolo, Bomani Jones, because in a feature written by June Lee at Bleacher Report, Jimmy G has made news by sort of proclaiming that he thought he was better than Tom Brady, referring to his arrival in New England, and meeting Brady. He said, quote, "When I first got there, I thought in my head, I'm better than this dude."
Obviously, when the article states in reference to his initial arrival at the New England Patriots camp, when Jimmy G states that he thought he was better than Tom Brady, he most likely is talking about while he watched Tom Brady warm up or go through his drills or practice, etc. He looked at Tom Brady's body mechanics, his execution, and he said to himself, I'm better than him. I have a better arm than him. I'm more mobile than him. I'm faster on my feet. I'm quicker with my brain. That's what he believes. And I'm on record as stating that I personally believe that had Jimmy G started the Super Bowl last year against the Philadelphia Eagles, that they would have won. I believe that he would have had the mobility in the pocket to escape the pass rush to a degree where he would have been able to lead the team on that final drive. Now, many people may say, well, Tom Brady passed for over 500 yards, and the only faux pas that he had was at the very end of the game. Well, of course, that was the difference in the game, not counting, of course, Bill Belichick's decision to bench their best defensive back, that being Malcolm Butler. But I think that that is what Jimmy G is talking about, and you always want your incumbent quarterback to speak like that. You always want the person who's going to have next, per se, to think like that I know that I'm better than this person. Michael Jordan has always stated that one of the things that made him respect Kobe Bryant so much was even when he went against Kobe, from the time that Kobe first entered the league, he could sense that Kobe was not afraid of him, that Kobe believed in himself, and that he was willing to compete. And that, to me, is why Tom Brady was so eager to force Bill Belichick to trade Jimmy Garoppolo, because he viewed Jimmy G Spot as a threat to his throne in New England, and he did not want to go out like he saw so many of the other prominent New England Patriots veterans go out after they had been used and dried up. Bill Belichick shipped them and sent them packing. He did not want to have that same fate befall him.
End quote. Bomani, what do you make of young Jimmy G?
He sounds a lot like Tom Brady. Right? Like, does that not sound like something that Tom Brady would say? I believe.
Absolutely. Tom Brady was the same type of cat. What people call arrogant, quote unquote. I don't consider it arrogance when somebody has the ability, the work ethic, and the self-belief to back it up. You have to conceive it before you can achieve it. I believe that Tom Brady looked at Jimmy Garoppolo, looked into his eyes, and saw himself, and he witnessed his own mortality, his own athletic mortality, let me specify, starting to manifest itself as he looked at Jimmy G across his locker or watching Jimmy G practice, observing how at ease Garoppolo was with many of his fellow teammates. Jimmy G had no problem making very, very fast friends with the wide receiver core. Many of their teammates respected Garoppolo and expected great things from him when Brady either went down or was suspended by the NFL. And of course, he did what they thought he was going to do, and I believe that Garoppolo's biggest fan on the team was actually Bill Belichick. And I think that Brady felt that as well, and that added to the sense of urgency that Tom Brady had that acted as an impetus to motivate him to have the owner of the New England Patriots, Bob Kraft, trade Garoppolo off the team.
I believe, and we forget this, that when Drew Bledsoe was there with New England before Tom Brady took that job, Drew Bledsoe was somebody.
Absolutely. Not only had he led the New England Patriots to a Super Bowl appearance, For those of us who remember in the mid-90s when Bledsoe first came into the NFL, I believe he came into the NFL in 93 or 94. Within one season, he either led the NFL in passing yards or he might have been second to Dan Marino. But there was about a 2 or 3 year stretch where Drew Bledsoe was basically playing pitch and catch with Ben Coates and Irving Fryer. There was an aerial show up there in New England for a while in the early to mid-90s when Drew Bledsoe first touched down on the scene. There was no doubt that he was a sensation. He started to slow down near the end of the decade, which of course set up Tom Brady taking his place. But Drew Bledsoe pretty much is known as the modern-day Wally Pipp. Wally Pipp, for those of you who don't know, is the first baseman for the New York Yankees who was injured. Lou Gehrig took his place and never again was taken out of the lineup because Lou Gehrig became a transcendent player for the New York Yankees all throughout the 20s and 30s. Tom Brady basically is the football version of Lou Gehrig. Once he was able to take the spot of the starting quarterback from Drew Bledsoe, he never looked back.
Drew Bledsoe had led a team to a Super Bowl. Tom Brady absolutely walked in there and thought that he was better than Drew Bledsoe.
He's on record as saying that.
This is kind of sort of what you want to hear from your quarterback, and it sounds like he had a head coach who may not have thought he was better, but sure as hell thought he was next.
Absolutely, Bill Belichick thought he was next. I quite frankly believe that Bill Belichick has a bit of a man crush on Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, that's the other part of the story that's so interesting. Beyond the fact that Jimmy G is more confident than we thought, we have...
Well, he's more confident than you thought. Speak for yourself.
Have a note in this piece talking about how Bill Belichick had been offered multiple high-round picks from the Cleveland Browns and still ended up sending this dude who's really, really good at football, Jimmy Garoppolo, to the 49ers for just a single second-round pick, which...
Well, let's keep in mind that prior to being hired to be the head coach of the New England Patriots, his previous head coaching job in the NFL was with the Cleveland Browns, and that did not end very well. And as we all know, Bill Belichick is highly intelligent. Highly intelligent people tend to have very, very long memories, and sometimes highly intelligent people can hold grudges because they view disrespect as an insult to their intelligence, and they pledge to themselves that they will never allow such and such occurrence to ever happen to them again, because once again, highly intelligent people take insult to their intelligence very, very seriously. And Bill Belichick believed that he was in the process of building up that Cleveland Browns program before it was yanked out from underneath his feet. He pretty much had to beg Bill Parcells for a position as a defensive coordinator with the New York Jets. Well, I shouldn't say beg, because Bill Parcells knew the genius that was Bill Belichick. He was taken onto the New York Jets staff, and then eventually he was allowed to become the head coach of the New England Patriots. But I think that there's a lot to why he refused to trade Jimmy Garoppolo to the Cleveland Browns. Not just that they're in the AFC, of course, that's one of the reasons, but also his history with the Cleveland Browns franchise. The last thing that he wants is Jimmy Garoppolo coming into Gillette Stadium in 2 years with a 42-year-old Tom Brady at quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo in his prime at 28 years old, leading an incumbent Cleveland Browns franchise that may be 11-5 or 12-4, trying to defeat the Patriots in an AFC championship game in Gillette Stadium and have everything come back and bite him in the ass. I think that Bill Belichick can live with facing the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl and losing to Jimmy G, but he could not deal with that in an AFC championship game, trading him away to an AFC rival and the team that in his mind did him dirty.
Which indicates to me, if I am a Patriots fan, that is the thing my head can't entirely wrap around. The idea.
Well, I just explained it to you.
The idea that you gave him away, basically, right? Because Jenny Frentis is the other note here. Jenny Frentis at the MMQB, or now, yes, the MMQB still, she remained at SI. She said that Bill Belichick has been texting Jimmy Garoppolo after each of these wins, congratulating him.
I told you that's his man crush.
Yeah. So still...
And I also believe that Garoppolo was the man crush of many of his teammates in the New England locker room. And I think that eventually he's going to become the man crush of many of his teammates in the 49er locker room because of his exploits, both on and off the field.
Still, there seems to be this palace intrigue around the story.
Yeah, but where I do disagree on the idea of the giveaway, because, yeah, you could get more offer, get more back from the Browns, but where do the Browns play? In the AFC.
Ding.
See, if you think this dude is legitimately good, you ship him as far away as possible. That, I think, would be more important than the initial haul that you could get back on draft picks on this one. I would, however, as we do all of this with Jimmy Garoppolo, Mike Sando just did his tier rating where he talks to everybody what tiers they have quarterbacks in. Jimmy Garoppolo's in tier 2, and if I'm not mistaken, tier 1 is Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, right? He's got Jimmy Garoppolo down there. Wow. Jimmy Garoppolo had 7 touchdown passes last year. 7 touchdown passes. They went on a nice run when he got started, but we have seen enough guys that when they first get out here and start, that, yeah, you have this honeymoon period, and then we see what happens when the league gets some film.
I agree with you, Bomani Jones, but this person feels a little bit different. We'll see what happens. But just watching Jimmy Garoppolo, he reminds me of many of the surgical great quarterbacks that I've seen in my lifetime. Of course, I'm not going to put him anywhere near the Joe Montana realm yet. The dude has an extremely long way to go, and of course he does have to prove himself. But from the little that I've seen, one of the things that stands out is his ability to immediately recognize what type of scheme the defense is playing, which to me is going to go a long way. It's not like he's just out there betting on his arm talent.
He's got a great offensive coordinator in Shanahan who can get it done, but we are ahead of our skis on Jimmy Garoppolo.
And speaking of the film on Jimmy G, one of the other notes in this piece is that he may have taken that adult film star out on a date because he loves Entourage, and Vinny Chase did that too.
He knows that Color Me Bad song, I bet, that you don't.
Well, that's why I call him Jimmy G Spot, because he loves the hoes. But anyway, peace.